You're just better at it than I am. I just mess it up anyway. I don't know how to do that. Sound familiar? These are some of the go-to excuses that people use when they can do something, they just don't want to. It's called weaponized incompetence. When someone pretends to be bad at a task, so you'll stop asking them to do it. And over time, it doesn't just shift the workload, it creates resentment, burnout, and a seriously uneven dynamic in relationships. Today, we're going to introduce a few scenarios where weaponized incompetence is occurring and show you how to confront this manipulative behavior. In this first scenario, we're going to have someone we call the bad at emotions guy. You try to have a real conversation with your partner about something that's been bothering you. Maybe you've been feeling disconnected or like the emotional labor is all on your side. And they cut you off with something like, "Look, I'm just not good at talking about feelings, okay? That's your thing." And now you're stuck doing all the emotional heavy lifting while they get to tap out every time things get uncomfortable. So how can we confront this? Instead of jumping in to fill the silence or soften the moment, don't. Let the discomfort hang. Say your piece and then just stop talking. Their discomfort is not yours to fix. It might feel awkward at first, but holding that pause creates space for them to step up and engage. The second scenario we're going to call the social deflector. You're getting ready for a dinner party you're hosting together, and your partner suddenly becomes very confused about how to help. They might say things like, "I never know what you want me to do with these things," or "I don't really have your instincts for this sort of thing." And somehow you're lighting candles, chopping veggies, answering texts, and setting the playlist all at once. What you can say here: it's not about instincts, it's about effort. If you don't know what to do, just ask me. I need a teammate, not a spectator. Keep it short, calm, and clear. You're naming the behavior and redirecting them toward participation instead of passive helplessness. So for the third scenario, we're gonna call this the "I just mess it up" parent. Your co-parent offers to help with bedtime, but stands there like they're waiting for instructions. Or worse, they say, "You're just so much better at this than I am. I would just mess it up." They say it with a smile, but it's not really a compliment. It's a retreat. And now you have to handle the toothbrush tantrums, putting on pajamas, and story time solo. Again, let's think about this. What can you do? Leave the room. Seriously. Just say, "Okay," then give it your best shot and walk away. Let them figure it out. You're not abandoning anyone. You're just creating the opportunity for them to actually learn instead of staying dependent on your expertise. For scenario 4, this is going to be called the workaround expert. You're trying to collaborate on a shared household budget, and your partner constantly avoids it. They forget passwords, they don't understand spreadsheets, they claim they're just not a numbers person. So you end up managing everything by default. But when they want to buy something big, suddenly they know exactly where the money is. This is so important to address. We know how detrimental differences of financial preferences can be in relationships, so it's really essential that you can address these issues head on. Here's what you say. If you're making financial decisions, you're capable of helping with the financial planning. I'm not going to manage it all alone. This names the inconsistency without accusing. So you're really tying responsibility to agency. If they want to say, they also have to share the work with you. So before we end, I just want to examine this concept in a little bit more depth. Weaponized incompetence is when someone pretends they're bad at something, not to be funny, not because they actually need help, but so they don't have to do it. It's not an official diagnosis, but from a clinical perspective, it's a behavior that shows up when someone is avoiding responsibility, usually in a way that benefits them and burdens someone else. It's not always obvious, but over time, it shifts the workload, the emotional labor, the planning, all onto one person. And what this usually points to underneath is some combination of passive aggression, entitlement, or a fear of being corrected or even being vulnerable. So even if it looks like helplessness, it's often about control. And left unchecked, it can seriously damage trust and balance in any relationship. Weaponized incompetence might not come with raised voices or dramatic exits, but that's exactly why it's so hard to call out. It hides behind compliments, confusion, and self-deprecation. all while quietly shifting the burden onto you. So here's the thing, you don't have to carry it. Naming the pattern, setting boundaries, and refusing to reward helplessness, that's how you start changing the dynamic. And no, it's not always easy, but letting someone repeatedly opt out of responsibility, that's not kindness, that's self-abandonment. If any of these scenarios hit a little too close to home, you're not alone, and you're not crazy for noticing. The goal isn't perfection, it's partnership, and that starts with accountability. Thanks for watching. We have more clinical resources on weaponized incompetence on our website, and if you feel like you're dealing with something even more severe, please click the first link in the description below to schedule a chat with us. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.